Now there's a lot of diversity in this class of animals, but they have their levels of organization are pretty complex. Um, you find them absolutely everywhere. They're coelomates and they're triploblastic. Um, in the larval stage or juvenile stages, they are aquatic. Their heart has two chambers. They have a tail, they have gills, and either they don't have limbs at all or they are modified. Then they develop into adults that are terrestrial. The heart is three-chambered. They are tetrapods with four legs, and they breathe by lungs. This Panamanian golden frog is used in that vocal sac there for calling, which, as we said before, could be um, to warn predators or establish territory or looking for a mate. They have a very large tympanic membrane that you see there right behind the eye in that top picture on the left. They have a nictitating membrane that you see in the bottom left, which is a third eyelid. Their eyes don't close, so they have that nictitating membrane that will close their eyes. Their skin is moist because they use it for breathing. The hind limbs are large for jumping and moving. Their feet are webbed like you see in the picture at the bottom, and that's for swimming, and they never have claws on their bodies. Since they have four limbs, they do a lot of moving around on the land. And there's been some modifications. Their skull is reduced. Their pelvic girdle attaches to just one sacral vertebra. It's called the sacrum. They only have one cervical vertebra in their neck called the atlas, so they can't move their head a lot. Their thoracic and lumbar vertebrae are not differentiated at all. They don't have ribs, or they can have ribs, but the thoracic and lumbar vertebrae don't articulate with the sternum at all, or the ribs don't articulate with the sternum. Their distal limb bones are fused into a tibiofibula and a radioulna. And they have more joints in their pelvic limbs so that they can jump. Those that live in trees are slender-bodied and their legs taper, and their feet and the tips of their toes, their digits, are these large circular discs that act like suction cups. But locomotion varies among all amphibians. There's a limbless caecilian. It just burrows. And some of them can swim, but they're more like the swimming salamanders. They look like eels. Salamanders don't really use their limbs at all for swimming. Their limbs are sprawled out from the body, straight out, and their trunk rests on the ground. And then, of course, you've got your frogs that use the long hind limbs for jumping and hopping, as well as swimming and burrowing and climbing. As we said before, their skin is thin, it's soft, and glandular. It also has no scales. We call that magid. The only amphibians with scales similar to fish are caecilians. Earliest amphibians probably had scales, but they have these glands in their dermis, and it secretes a lot of mucus so they don't lose a lot of water. Some of them have venom glands that will secrete poison or toxic substances. And then, of course, there's the hedonic glands on the male head or chin that secretes pheromones that will stimulate the female to clasp and reproduce. Males, they don't have claws, and their colors vary. Some of them, the lipophores, are going to be yellow to red. The melanophores are going to be tawny black. Guanophores are clear white. And amoeboid, they can change shape and location to produce color variation.